All right. What are we doing today, folks? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see what we're doing here, folks. So I just got off of a 4.5, 5 hour long car drive. So we're just going to be taking it real easy and catching up on shit that I missed while I was gone out of town. All right. Let's see.
The big story.
The big story. All right, let's see here. Got that. Get rid of Dragon Ball Z. There we go. Okay, let's watch
in
this.
Washington, D.C., the race for a speaker, as you may recall, Jim Jordan challenged his fellow Republicans to vote, and he came up short, getting only 200 votes when he needed 217. Let's go back to Manu Raju on Capitol Hill, who has the latest. Manu, my understanding is that Congressman Jordan is going to push for a second ballot and is pressuring people who voted against him to
Late day stream for sure. Hello?
Jordan is in fact meeting private.
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
second ballot and is pressuring people who voted against him to.
Jordan is in fact meeting
No one even says anything in the
with
comments.
some of those holdouts right now, trying to allay their concerns, trying to convince them to vote for him or vote present, which could change the threshold, could make it easier for him to be elected speaker. Those conversations are ongoing. But Jake, I've talked to several Republicans in the hallway here who voted against him just moments ago, and they're making clear that they don't plan to vote for him.
I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do if the Republicans can't get their shit together and elect a fucking speaker. Now, would I be glad if it's not Jim Jordan? Yes, I would be very glad if it was not Jim Jordan. But at the same time, holy shit. They wanted to shut down the government, and I guess they've effectively done that in another way, because instead of doing completely cutting off funding for the government, out of spite, they've shut it down by not allowing there to be any kind of vote taken on fucking literally anything in the House of Representatives, except for electing a speaker. So they got kind of what they wanted already. What about Jim Jones? Jim Jones? You mean Jim Jordan?
On the second ballot as well. One Congressman John Rutherford just talked to our colleague Sam Fossum. He said, I am where I am. He said, I'm not going to change his position. Same with Mario Diaz-Balart, who's a Florida Republican who voted for Steve Scalise. He also is indicating that he is not moving off his opposition. Carlos Jimenez, who you spoke with, also indicating that he's not going to move from supporting Kevin McCarthy. That right there, just 3 votes there. There are more that are expected to vote against Jim Jordan on the second ballot as well. There was some positive news from Jim Jordan. One Congressman, Doug LaMalfa, who did not vote for Jordan on that first ballot, indicated he would on the second ballot.
I don't care about that right now.
Some movement in the direction, but not enough movement. So there's just a lot of questions about the timing of everything. I've talked to a bunch of Republicans. They're not sure if there's going to be a conference-wide meeting or if they will go to a second ballot. They've just closed the doors of the House chamber, so don't expect a second ballot to happen imminently. Even if it does happen at some point, it may not happen for some time later today. But Jordan is still working behind the scenes, trying to convince members to come his way. But this number, this margin, 20 Republicans voting against him, that is much worse than they anticipated. They thought they were within striking distance. Jordan allies even thought they were within 10 votes of the speakership. They thought they were better than McCarthy did in January when he lost 19 Republicans on that first ballot. 20 Republicans Republicans. There's a significant deficit for him to make up, but they are still trying to push ahead, still planning at the moment to have that second ballot election, and he still has some support from his allies, including Kevin McCarthy himself, who told me Jordan should not drop out at this point. So, Jake, a lot of questions as Jordan tries to get the votes, convince his members to come along, and decide when to pull the trigger for that second ballot. But at the moment, he doesn't have the votes to be elected.
You would place a large bet on the president and vice president being assassinated within 12 months? I don't know about that. I don't think that would happen. But there might be people that say that that's what the best path forward is for sure. Beat the game without a single allegory card. I can do that.
Elected Speaker.
All right, Manu Raju, thank you so much. Casey Hunt, let me start with you here in studio, and then I want to bring in former Congressman Rodney Davis. He's going to push forward. I'm sure he'll be able to pick up a couple votes. But once again, I do think it's pretty clear, and I don't mean this to sound harsh, but it's...
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I think everyone involved with this story should die.
It's just a mess.
Yes.
I mean, this is not normal. If you don't have the vote, I mean, we have not seen this before.
Nope.
Because normally the person who is going to be the leader of the party has the votes lined up long before they call the vote, and you don't see this sloppiness.
Yeah, I'm glad that you sort of hit on the big picture historic nature of what we're seeing, because this is now 2 weeks without a speaker, second in line to the presidency of the United States, 2 wars, as you've noted, and no one able to send any American money.
People keep on making memes about Biden going over there. Like, some people are mad that he's going over there. Some people are mad that he waited this long, right? Some people don't think that he should go over there. It's like there's literally nothing Biden can do to make anyone happy. I feel for the guy, truly. I really do. Like, you try to, like, secure some kind of aid to Gazans. You try to make sure that they get water from Israel. You succeed in that. And then what do you get in return? You get a bunch of people still saying that you're complicit in fucking genocide as you actively try to mitigate the amount of civilian casualties that Israel would almost certainly love to fucking incur here,
Money to help, despite the fact that we're sending the U.S. president to Israel tomorrow to address it. And Republicans cannot get on the same page. And honestly, it's the end of a story that we have been covering in slow motion for the last 5 years, or honestly 10 years, since the Tea Party first came to Washington, 13 years in 2010. This is something where there is now a faction of the electorate that is voting for chaos. And these members, there is an incentive system that is set up for them inside the conservative media that makes it impossible for a certain set of them to oppose that MAGA base. And then you have a handful still, the ones that make up the majority, who are in districts where their voters actually want them to govern, and they cannot find common ground. I mean, Jake, how many times have you said this in this afternoon, right? How do you find common ground on who won the election and who didn't?
Right.
It's like this or that. It's not in the middle.
Right. Former Congressman Davis, what's going on with your party? I mean, this is just
what's going on with your
behavior.
party, bro?
This is not.
What's going on with you guys?
I mean,
Are you
they
guys
should just
okay?
be able to. I mean, what's wrong with Tom Emmer? What's wrong with Steve Womack? What's wrong with Tom Cole? These are all conservative Republicans that should just be able to, if you can't rally around Kevin McCarthy, just pick one of these guys.
Well, look, this started a few months ago when I was with you through 15 rounds of votes. And really what you're seeing is people within the Republican Party, within the Republican conference in the House, have decided enough's enough. They watched 8 individuals decide to take down Kevin McCarthy. And I actually right now, Jake, I think Jim Jordan's making a tactical error in trying to talk to these no votes one-on-one. He needs to get every member of that House Republican conference into the room, because his best supporter and his best sales pitch is coming from the guy in the room everybody stands up and listens to when he gets to the microphone.
Which is
Kevin
no one
McCarthy
in the Republic.
And other supporters
Kevin
like
McCarthy,
Patrick
yeah.
McHenry. He needs to use them to try and get these no votes to change. And if he doesn't do that, I don't know how he's going to get any more votes in the second round and may
Imagine
lose a few
Jim
more.
Jordan just being like, no, fuck
right,
you guys. You
Congressman,
guys
Roger
voted me
Davis,
out.
thanks a
Why
lot.
would I fucking help you? Why would I help you? My name is Kevin McCarthy, and last I saw, I was the first speaker to ever be taken out of commission because of you retards. Why would I fucking help you? Like, what the fuck? Hey, Kevin, so I know there's like this whole awkward thing going on between you and everybody else. I may have contributed to that somewhat, but if you could help me get your old job, that would be super swell. What the fuck do they expect from him?
Retired U.S. Army General David Petraeus, also the former
Let's see. I'm just catching up on things, just putting anything on. If there's anything interesting that's happened over the past couple of days, let me know, but I'm not aware of anything. So,
director of the CIA. He has a brand new book titled Conflict, The Evolution
Conflict.
of Warfare from 1945 to Ukraine. General, always good to have you on. One of the things that struck me about the book, which is an area of expertise, which is something that I hope the Israelis are reading, is about urban combat and the 2004 Battle of Fallujah, the largest of the Iraq War. Bloody, costly, street by street. And we had General Kimmon here not long ago, and he was saying that what Israel is going to face, what the Israeli forces are going to face in Gaza will be probably even more grueling than Fallujah. What do you think?
Oh, it'll be orders of magnitude more difficult. The enemy has had months to prepare the defenses. They'll undoubtedly employ improvised explosive devices, suicide bombers, car bombs, tunnels, a lot of infrastructure that they have. They know the territory very, very well, and it's many times the size of Fallujah. We did a number of urban operations over those years, and then more recently, we watched one that might be more appropriate as an analogy, which was the Iraqi security forces supported by a U.S.-led coalition clearing the Islamic State out of Mosul, a city about the same size as Gaza City. And again, it's very, very challenging fighting. In this hospital bombing, and by the way, I'll take the side of the IDF spokesman any day over Hamas, needless to say. They're in a democracy. The truth is going to come out. They
wait,
know
hold
it.
on. What
and they've done
happened at the
apparently a very
hospital?
good and thorough investigation quite quickly. But in the case of urban combat, you're going to have tremendous damage to civilian infrastructure. You're going to have considerable civilian loss. You're going to take a lot of friendly casualties. You don't just have to clear every building, floor, room, basement, tunnel. You have to leave substantial forces behind, or else the enemy will re-infiltrate. And you have to do this progressively, sequentially. You have to clear and hold, and then continue farther, spread the oil spot. In fact, it really should be thought of as a counterinsurgency operation, not just a conventional military operation, because you are fighting among the people and because of the importance of not overlooking what happens after Hamas is destroyed. And by the way, the spokesman today said they also intend to dismantle the Hamas political structure, the political.
Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Bring in NBC News foreign correspondent Raf Sanchez.
Let me see what
He's
happened
in
here.
Ashdod, Israel. Raf, I'm struck by two things that you and I have talked about in the past 10 days. One is U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken offering pretty extensive remarks, both in Israel and in Doha, about a Hamas tactic to be on the lookout for. And it was this. It was that Hamas terrorists would use their civilian population as human shields. And after we learned about the number of hostages, they would use Israeli and really we now know they're from many countries, the hostages as human shields. With that very high profile information put on the public stage twice in 2 days last week, and with some of this information that we're learning from Miri that there was a failed launch from Palestinian Jihad into Israel, the missile that never arrived. What are the different things you're hearing to explain this tragic loss of civilian life in Gaza?
Right, Nicole. So this is a very fast-moving and chaotic situation, but here's what we know. The Palestinian Health Ministry is saying the Al-Ahli Hospital, which is in Gaza City, in the northern half of Gaza, took a direct strike from an Israeli aircraft. They are saying at minimum hundreds of people are dead at this hospital.
Damn.
The strike, or the explosion, let's say, the explosion seems to have taken place in a courtyard in front of the hospital where families were gathering, believing fatally, as it turned out, that they would be safe if they were within hospital grounds. Now, as you said, the Israeli military is saying that at the time this hospital was hit, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is a smaller terrorist group that operates alongside Hamas in Gaza, was in the midst of firing a barrage of rockets into Israel. And the Israeli military says intelligence from multiple sources that we have in our hands indicates that Islamic Jihad is responsible for the failed rocket launch which hit the hospital in Gaza. So, Nicole, this is an absolutely classic fog of war situation, and we should be really clear. NBC News is not able to get into Gaza right now. The Israeli border is sealed. The Egyptian border is sealed. Our teams are not able to get there and to verify this directly. We should also say that the Israeli military...
Was it just like super highly dense, like crowds of people? Because, like, I'm not going to lie, if Hamas is making fucking bombs out of, out of like sewer pipes and shit, can they make a bomb that can kill 500 people in one? Can they make a bomb that can kill that many people in one fucking go? I just don't know. I don't know a lot about bombs like whatsoever. All right, I've never really made one myself or thought about making one, so maybe that hampers my ability to make an assessment. But it feels like bombs that can kill 500 people are not going to be made out of sewer pipes.
At this point,
but I don't know.
Providing
I could be
any
wrong.
Evidence to back up its claims that this was a Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket. They are citing intelligence that they have not yet made public. We should also say that this kind of death toll is not what you normally associate with Palestinian rockets. These rockets are dangerous. They are deadly. They do not tend to kill hundreds of people in a single strike in the way that Israeli high explosives, especially these bunker buster bombs that are used to target these Hamas tunnels under Gaza City, do have the potential to kill hundreds of people. And we should say finally that there are instances in the past where the Israeli military has said things in the immediate aftermath of an incident that have turned out not to be true in the long run. And the one example I'll give you is that when the Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh was killed in the occupied West Bank, the Israeli military initially said that she was killed by Palestinian gunmen, and it was only months and months later that they admitted that it was likely an Israeli soldier who fired the fatal shot. So we are dealing with a classic loss of life situation, a classic fog of war situation here. What we do know for sure is that this appears to be a truly explosive event in what was already a truly explosive situation. We are seeing
you can't use the same pun twice in a row. That's so
in cities
fucked
like
up.
Ramallah.
Bro.
So we are dealing with a classic loss of life situation, a classic fog of war situation here. What we do know for sure is that this appears to be a truly explosive event in what was already a truly explosive situation. We are seeing mass protests in the occupied West Bank now, in cities like Ramallah, in cities like Hebron. The West Bank has been violent over the last 10 days or so. Dozens of Palestinians have been killed in confrontations with the Israeli military, with armed Israeli settlers. But this has the potential to really set things on fire. We are seeing large-scale protests outside of Israeli embassies in Turkey, in other countries. And finally, Nicole, this has the potential to upend President Biden's diplomatic visit to the region.
It sure does.
He was supposed to be meeting Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Jordan tomorrow. The Palestinians are now saying Abbas is returning to Ramallah. It's no longer clear if he's going to meet the President of the United States. The Egyptians are very forcefully condemning this. They are blaming Israel for this strike. And President Biden will be sitting across the table from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi tomorrow, looking for his help in trying to somehow de-escalate this situation, somehow get humanitarian aid into Gaza. It is not clear what kind of constructive conversation can happen in the aftermath of a situation like this. Nicole.
Raf, fog of war has such a historic connotation, right? But we don't live in a world that allows for it anymore. I mean, that is the most factual thing that I think we probably can know for sure.
What the fuck did this retard just say?
Right? But we don't live in a world that allows for it anymore. I mean, that is the most.
Oh, we don't live in a time where that allows for fog of war? You're a fucking mainstream media journalist and you don't know about misinformation? You don't know what happened just fucking last year when the invasion of Ukraine happened? What the fuck are you talking about? We don't live in a world that allows for the fog of war. That's like truly one of the stupidest fucking statements I think I've ever heard in my entire life. No.
Bring in NBC News foreign
to get there and to verify this. They are deadly. They do not tend to kill. Actually said mass protests in the occupied West Shore that they admitted that it was likely kind of construction.
all of the context and all the background, Israel seems to have zero incentive structure to do anything to jeopardize this visit from President Joe Biden. What are they saying about the importance and how, I mean, it seems that everything, including a possible ground invasion, has hinged perhaps on some of these high-level visits. 2 trips from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, a high-level trip with the counterpart of U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, and as you said, the hours-away arrival of U.S. President Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's right. And Nicole, we should be really clear. The Israeli military says it does not target hospitals. It would not target hospitals. That doesn't mean that there couldn't accidentally be a strike on a hospital. Hospitals have been hit in Gaza in previous campaigns. And the Israeli military is saying that it was Islamic Jihad. We will know more in the hours to come. We are in those chaos.
See how they're like not like one-siding this, saying it was obviously Hamas or obviously Israel, although still implying that it was more likely Israel. Where do people get off with the narrative that the mainstream media is the narrative building machine for Israel? Where the fuck do they get off saying that stupid shit when we know we could just go onto MSNBC, the liberalist of liberal medias, and see that, yo, actually, it seems like these people have some pretty good reporting, right? Looks like they're kind of hedging their bets. They don't want to fucking say 100% that it was or wasn't Israel, or 100% was or wasn't Hamas. They're actually even kind of giving the impression that it was probably Israel. Like, I mean, like, I've been listening in my off time when I've been, off stream, out of town. I've been using my time to look at some old news coverage of old situations going on in Israel and Gaza. And it looks like, now, maybe it's selective, bias here, but when I'm not watching retarded fucking YouTube breadtubers on youtube.com, it seems like even the people who are the mainstream media, those dastardly devils, those dastardly people, they seem to be hedging their bets way more than literally any lefty is, who seem to be like not pushing this hardcore fucking Zionist agenda. That explosion was kind of huge. Wait, is there a video? Is there a video of this place exploding? One second. Did you get to see the Sunday memes? Oh, dude, I completely left my fucking phone all day yesterday, just at the place that we were staying while we were at the Texas State Fair. Okay, like that's like we were out at the Texas State Fair having a good old time, and every one of you guys were still online arguing with other retards that stay online for their entire lives. Can you imagine being such a loser that you stay online all the time? No, bro. I was out fucking eating fried what the fuck? We ate fried olives. No, we didn't have any tamales. Listen, this was the Texas State Fair. This was not the Tex-Mex State Fair, okay? This was a bunch of disgusting fucking white people food, all fucking deep fried. It is like actually some of the most insane things that they will. No fried Oreos? No, okay. I would rather fucking die. I would rather fucking die than eat a fucking fried Oreo. No funnel cakes. I don't like sweet foods. Cly, I don't like sweet foods. Sweet foods are gross as fuck. They're gross. They get you fat. Corn dogs, actually, they have a name brand corn dog at the Texas State Fair, and it's called a corny dog. And they did have elote, yeah. Okay, let's see what this is.
I'll ask you then. Are you getting fucking brain damage or some shit? What's your fucking problem? You signed up for a fucking panel.
He's getting demoralized.
Panel.
No,
why does counterpoint sound like that? 1 second.
I'll ask you then. Are you getting fucking brain damage or some shit? What's your fucking problem? You signed up for a fucking panel.
He's getting demoralized.
Panel.
No,
Quibbles, if you're saying
this is my real fucking beef. Sunday, every single time you show up to have a conversation with another person with an IQ over 80, you act like you're tired and bored and have someplace else to be, but then you show up for the next interaction. So why don't you actually engage with the conversations that are put in front of you?
Fucking true.
You were
Oh my god. Meta.
Okay.
Does he run?
He's so much smarter than everybody else. I want to hear what the fuck he has to say. Come on, buddy. Enlighten us. Everybody else is stupid. Everybody else is boring. Please enlighten us. I'm down here to receive the wisdom of President Sunday. Everybody else is a fucking idiot. We're boring you. We're wasting your time. I am here to learn. President Sunday, I am sitting my white ass down and I am listening. Please tell me.
You're not that mad that you couldn't successfully deplatform me because food shops is proving that
no, don't
trans
distract.
girls have bigger balls than leftist.
Okay. Nobody be silent. I want to
Points only, baby. Let's go back.
He didn't respond at all to any of that. What the fuck, dude? And he ran away. Hey, everyone, I just want to say really quick. And he ran away. President Run Day running again. Holy shit, dude. God damn. How does he do it? How does he get away with it? We can't keep letting this man get away with all of this running. This motherfucker's like Forrest Gump out here. He just said, one day I started running and then I didn't feel like stopping, so I kept on running even more. Holy shit, dude. What was the topic?
Chaotic initial moments where there is claim and counterclaim. But as you say, this is not what the Israelis wanted. President Biden is due to land here at 10 a.m. tomorrow, local time, 3 Eastern. Prime Minister Netanyahu is going to meet him on the tarmac at Ben Gurion Airport. We expect that the president may go to the Israeli Defense Ministry. Very unusually, Nicole, Secretary of State Blinken actually attended the Israeli War Cabinet.
President Biden, he's going to the Israeli Defense Force building very funnily, very strangely. He's just rocking on over to the fucking IDF building like this. Very strangely, the president decides to head over to the IDF building for a briefing on the situation with Hamas. Oh God, what is this?
You know what happens after about 20 minutes? The stuff that he's taking wears off, so it gets a little groggy. Gets a little bit groggy. They say, get him off the stage. That shit's wearing off, man. You know what happens after about...
People like to share all these like ownage videos of fucking Biden and Trump. Like both of these motherfuckers are severely, I wouldn't say severely, they're noticeably aging cognitively.
Stay frosty. Cheers, big fella. Are we rushing in, or are we going sneaky beaky like?
Stay frosty.
So that is a senior member of the American cabinet essentially joining the Israeli cabinet. We think there may be some similar format tomorrow where President Biden will meet with the very small group of people, Prime Minister Netanyahu, the defense minister, the leader of the big centrist party, Benny Gantz, and one other official. We think he may join them in that format to talk about the strategic war aims. We expect President Biden is going to tell them that the United States supports Israel's right to defend itself, that the United States understands that Israel cannot leave Hamas in power in Gaza after the scale of the terrorist atrocities carried out on October 7th. But we also expect that the president
keeps on
is going
like
to press
motherfucker.
the
It's
Israelis
crazy.
to think about the day after, to think about what happens after they roll into Gaza, after they topple Hamas. Who is going to run this narrow strip of land on the Mediterranean that is home to 2 million people? And Nicole, as you know, President Biden was very skeptical of the American adventure in Afghanistan from the beginning. He is the man who finally gave the order to pull American troops out of there. And you can be sure that he will be encouraging Israeli decision makers to think long and hard about what happens if they go into Gaza, if they topple Hamas. Who is going to run the Gaza Strip the day after? Nicole.
Raf, it's Rachel who's here in studio in New York with Nicole. I hope you don't mind me jumping in here to ask you a question as well. Talking about that really intense and interesting political integration that we're seeing between the U.S. government, the Biden administration, and the Israeli government sitting on the war cabinet itself. That's just such a symbolic and substantive move by a senior member of the Biden administration. But what do we know about U.S. intelligence? Obviously, this issue with this hospital, whatever the story is about what happened at that hospital and how it came to suffer what it has suffered, obviously this is a mass casualty event. That hospital has been hit. There are two very different stories about how that hospital was hit that are being told by two sides. Does U.S. intelligence have penetration at all into Gaza? Will U.S. intelligence be of any help in terms of sorting out either contributing to a meaningful...
Does anyone have the video of this? I want to see, because everyone's talking about like the explosion. Like, how big was the explosion? Can someone link me that video?
Investigation as to what caused what happened at this hospital, or
Yeah,
towards
the hospital.
disambiguating the various claims.
I
these
assume it's not something that's, like,
incompatible
too
claims
gory.
about what caused it.
Yeah, it's a really good question. The United States has unparalleled geospatial intelligence. Put more simply, the U.S. just has a whole lot more satellites than everybody else. Whether they will have a satellite that was pointing in the right place at the right time to tell you with a high level of confidence whether it was a Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket or an Israeli F-16 that destroyed this hospital, we don't know. The American government may not know. It takes time to sift through the massive, massive reams of intelligence that the United States is collecting literally every second of the day. We know that the American military has very deep ties with the Israeli military. We know that they are talking to each other, as well as the intelligence agencies talking to each other. It may very well be that if someone in the Israeli military knows something that is contrary to what's being said publicly, and there's no suggestion that they do, but that those lines of communication are open between the U.S. military, the Israeli military. We should say the U.S. and Israel are best of friends, but they do. There is evidence, and we saw this from WikiLeaks, we saw this from Edward Snowden, that the U.S. does collect intelligence on Israeli activities. And so it's very possible that the Americans know things that the Israelis don't know that they know. But right now, this is a very chaotic situation. It's hard to know. I will just tell you, speaking to government officials in general, they will tell you more and more and more. The open source intelligence, what you see on social media, is often faster and it is often much clearer than the really expensive, really technical stuff gathered by satellites, gathered by signals intelligence. It is often what people film on their cell phones and put on the internet that can give you the clearest information if you know how to analyze it. Guys.
If you know how to analyze it, it's doing so much work there. It's doing so much work there. Okay, let's see what this is. Where's the hospital? Let's see here.
يا الله يا الله يا الله مستشفى انجليزي مستشفى انجليزي
Jesus. Jesus fuck.
يا الله يا الله يا الله
That was a pretty big boom.
مستشفى انجليزي يا رب يا رب
This corridor looks like... I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5, okay? Although I'm supposed to be dressing up as Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3 for Halloween. Dang. Well, I can't make any... I'm not some sort of fucking munitions expert. It's not like I can fucking say, oh yeah, that was Israeli, that was Palestinian, but it sounded like a big explosion, is all I'm saying. It sounded like a really big explosion. Okay, we're done with this one. We're done with this one. We don't need this one, really, if we're being honest. Let's see what Food Shops is saying about it.
Context is Egypt is keeping away Palestinian immigrants because Egypt really, really hates Jews. That's why, right? So these two are two completely different contexts, okay? That one is reading from a news article, and the other one is something that Lonerbox or a historian can interpret. Does that make more sense?
Don't care. Is that how analysts do it? Well, they probably have sound profiles of the bombs, yeah. Let's see here. What else do I have? Western hypocrisy on Gaza. Oof. Oh, yeah. Todd from Politically Provoked. Definitely the guy that I go to for all of my highly controversial analyses on world events. Definitely the best person for that job. Of course, he's convinced it's Hamas. Actually, wait. Wait, you're right. You're right. That is counterintuitive. You would think that he would think it's the Jews.
How to construct this video. Like, what should I talk about specifically? And the title might be something specific. Like, in my head right now, I'm thinking about, like, Western celebrities, maybe, like liberal celebrities. But it could be anything, because this is just going to be, I wouldn't say rambling video, but I haven't really got a structure
Ramble
in my
at
head
us,
beyond a few
Cavernacle.
screenshots. And of course, we're talking about the war in Gaza, the war between Hamas and various other insurgent groups and the IDF, and really how the mask has dropped from the Israeli government, just flat out calling for genocide and war crimes. But also, while they do that, basically every single person in the West is cheering them on. Like, most people in governments, whether they be liberals or whether they be even progressives or whether they be conservatives, are all saying Israel has a right to defend itself. So when people in Netanyahu's party say they should nuke Gaza, I guess that's fine. When Israeli Defense Force...
Who has said that we should nuke Gaza? Who has said that? Has anyone heard anyone in the IDF say that? Has anyone heard Biden or any other liberal news organizations say they should nuke Gaza? Like, when it comes to progressives online, do we hear people saying, like, yeah, fuck the amount of civilian casualties? Like, I feel like I can get a pretty good, I can give like the lefty take right now, right? Kevin's genius, smartest guy I know. How's it going, Tom? How is it going? I feel like I can give the lefty take like pretty easily without having to think about it too hard. Israel is an apartheid state, and when you have people who are put into the conditions that the people of Gaza are put into, how do you expect them to respond when all other avenues of you know, all recourse has been completely taken away from them, right? They have no voting rights. They have no political rights. They can't even control their own trade, their own airspace. Yeah, like, what do you expect, like, a people under those conditions to do other than to strike out? Now, I'm not saying that all of the people in Israel, like should they have targeted civilians? I mean, I personally wouldn't say that we should be targeting civilians, but it's not my place to tell people who are fighting for their own rights how to fight for their freedom and for how to decolonize their own state. I feel like that's how a lefty would respond to this, right? Or even like a progressive, not explicitly condemning Hamas, you know, standing with the Palestinian people throughout that entire statement, saying that it is Israel's fault. It feels like that is the general progressive take that I've seen over the past week and a half, right? Then why is he bringing up progressives as one of the groups pushing this, you know, neoconservative, you know, pro-Israel, destroy all Muslims line? Yeah, I had to throw in that I wouldn't personally do it from Hassan. You know, I had to throw in the Hassan line. Now, would I personally say that this is a morally reprehensible thing? Well, personally, I would. But we're talking about political analysis here. We're looking at the reasons why these things happen. I can't morally condemn, you know, that's a Hassan thing. So that's why I had to throw that in there. But like, I even feel like the general Democrat view of this is, yeah, fuck Hamas. Israel has the right to defend itself. However, the people of Palestine are not being represented by Hamas. Hamas is actually hurting the Palestinian, you know, cause to get, you know, their rights recognized in Israel. And so as a result, because of that, Israel should reduce the amount of civilian casualties in totality. Both of these groups are not saying glass fucking Gaza, right? It's only like extremist Zionists and the Republican Party, I guess, who still has to like appeal to their base of people who would see every Muslim dead in the entire world. So why is the attack on progressives and liberals? It really feels like, and you guys please correct me, if you're a fucking leftist, please correct me and tell me that I'm wrong, because I want to be wrong about this. Why is it that liberals and progressives are the bigger enemy than the conservatives who actually hold the positions that you're criticizing? Destiny said to genocide them a month ago? This better be a
What do you think's the right move?
a specific time clip.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically, Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about where I'm at. I don't know,
You just think that Palestine should just pack up and Native American the fuck out of there?
The problem is that it seems like there is a hugely general hostility to Jewish people across really the entire world, but definitely the Middle East. So the problem is that as you weaken Israel's like ability for Jewish people to live there, it seems like because there's a lot of different organizations across the Middle East that are highly invested in the destruction of Israel. So that's like a really rough thing too. So it seems like if Israel is forced to make concessions to Palestinians, it threatens Jewish people's ability to have a homeland. And so I don't know, it's really shit. Truthfully, the answer is like there's no good answer. It's hard. It's hard. It's a really, really complicated situation. It seems like appeasing either end basically means like kind of the destruction of the other end. If you give Jewish people what they want, Palestinians are essentially permanently cucked out of what they feel is their rightful homeland. And if you give Palestinians what they want, then probably a lot of Jewish people are going to die.
Okay. He jokingly said to genocide them. Got it.
Or spokespeople say our soldiers won't be charged with war crimes. Do what they want. These are animals in Gaza. And we've known for a long time the Israeli government see Palestine.
Are we going to pretend like the statements from all these IDF spokesmen who are saying that Hamas does not represent all of Palestinians, that Palestinians are not our enemy? Are we going to ignore all of those statements from the Israelis? We just ignore it when it's inconvenient to our narrative that the West just wants to blow all brown people off the face of the fucking planet? It's like, bro, come the fuck on. He justified it, and then at the end he said, really, there is no good solution. No matter what side you take or what solution you do, you're going to be cucking to one side and the other side is going to get fucked. Maybe I'm reading into it too charitably, but I don't think that he actually believes. I'm going to find it really hard to believe based off of my prior knowledge of Destiny's statements on all of this stuff, that he would be okay with Israel genociding Palestinians. And I guarantee you, either within, and I would put money on it, that either within that exact same debate or within like a video that he put out within that same 2 or 3 day span, he said that Israel is going to commit war crimes and that shouldn't happen. That the cutting off of water is too much. Hamas makes cartoons to brainwash kids.
اقعد حبيبي فرفور اقعد ارتاح احنا فرفور بدنا نشتري الارض شري يا فرفور بدنا نديك مصاري كتير لا مش احنا اللي بنبيع اراضينا لناس ارهابيين فرفور نعم بدك تجيب له وراك يعني بدك تجيب له وراك مش سايب له وراك ومش سايب مش سايب له وراك فرفور نعم بدك تجيب له وراك فرفور بدك تجيب له وراك فرفور احنا عندنا احنا ارهابيه فرفور خد
Oh no, they have a live audience of children? She's like, I get it.
أحبابنا الأطفال لقد فقدنا أعز صديق لنا فرفور لقد استشهد فرفور وهو يدافع عن أرضه.
Jesus Christ. You think those guys were some of the terrorists? You think those guys ended up being some of the guys that walked into some kid's room and fucking set the house on fire? Yeah, Mickey Mouse is deeply haram. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know what the fucking Palestinian opinion on mice are.
Palestinians as animals, but now they're saying it. But what has the lovely human rights lawyer and the
Can you imagine if they reversed the roles and made the Jewish Israeli representative a rat? Oh man, the imagery would have been so fucking bad there. I'm just waiting for a Palestine rally with someone saying Jews killed Mickey Mouse. Oh man, you know, eventually it'll happen.
leader of the Labour Party, Keir
Law of
Starmer,
large
to say
numbers
about
and all.
this? Oh, Israel has a right to defend itself. So I guess genocidal rhetoric and just, taking revenge on all Gazans for the actions of Hamas, I guess that is justified now.
That's
according
literally
to every Western government.
I'm sorry, I just gotta harp on this. It's literally the exact opposite thing being said. Like, this narrative he's spinning is the exact opposite of what the United States official position is, and what the Democrats' official position is, and what the overwhelming majority of Americans' position is. Like, even if you take out, the fucking crazy conservatives who do want to fucking glass, the entire Middle East, these people want to pretend that liberals are as bloodthirsty as fucking conservatives, and it's just simply not fucking true. It's just not true. And that can be a bad thing to a certain degree. If you're such a bleeding heart that you will accept 0 civilian casualties, no matter what Israel does, it will always be a bad thing to you. It'll always be a bad thing to you. And it is a sad thing, but Israel can only do so much to avoid civilian casualties when Hamas literally sets up roadblocks so that they can't escape to south of Gaza City. Fuck me. There was I had a debate with Food Shops on Food Shops channel with Tiffany Starr. Videos. Oh, they're doing a premiere right now of it.
For a while.
Yeah. I would call it
there is no good way to go about this.
Genociding is less.
I have tension with everybody, okay? All right, because everybody knows I'm hot. Okay, whatever.
Let me scoop back in it a little bit and see if I can
Political
find the spot.
intelligence. Finish the whole entire sentence. Go.
Thank you. Her response with the question.
This was a hellish debate. You don't have any sympathy for that. You're an actual sociopath.
You have to be. I don't know. That's crazy.
Where's Tiffany?
To me, yeah, wow. To this point, right? If
right, I don't even disagree with you. I could be pushed really easily on that point, but the problem is that if again, Hamas will. I don't disagree with you that that's the.
Israel had what was it, 1,000 people killed, and then
1,300.
Yeah, 1,300 about.
Yeah, 1,300. So yeah, above that, 1,000. And they're using that to justify complete genocide, at least from what they've been stating.
Complete genocide's a bit hyperbolic, right?
No, they're hey, listen,
it's a bit hyperbolic, isn't it?
It's also not genocide. At best,
no,
you can make an
it's
argument
not
for ethnic
hyperbolic
cleansing.
if you know how they move. They were just saying Israel is saying Israel was.
And sisters. Yeah, I know how they move.
Genocide is a very specific term. It
I don't
talks
care
about the
about
elimination
anecdotes.
of a people. Doesn't mean
Israel was saying today that they couldn't evacuate everyone, but they will still attack after.
Well, Tiffany, that's what I was saying earlier. They're even if they were to give them weeks, even if they were to give them months, there still wouldn't be a really good answer for moving all those civilians out. And
Well, no, Sondsol, I agree
that,
with you. I'm talking to these other people. They seem like they're not agreeing with us.
Well, no, but I'm also I might disagree with them, but I also disagree with you on this. Even if number one, I don't think that Israel is trying to outright justify a genocide, right?
No, I think they are.
You might say that's the effect, but the intention there.
All right,
Please, I encourage you guys, please go to Food Shop's channels. All right, fucking watch that fucking debate. I need some validation that I wasn't fucking insane because I was trying so hard to fucking be nice. It was super fucking late. It was 2 in the goddamn morning. I was high as balls. I was trying to explain to Tiffany that I was just trying to get her to answer one question. And this is the question that you guys should ask every single fucking, every single person that pretends that they are, for Israel being able to destroy Hamas, but also doesn't want to, accept any civilian casualties. You know, everything that that they're doing is wrong, et cetera, et cetera. Like, ask them, what would be the acceptable response in your mind? I have not gotten a good answer to that from anyone, whether I've asked them on Twitter or in chat or in a stream like that where I'm talking to a couple of people. I have not gotten a single person who is very ardently anti-Israel to give me a even reasonable, right? Not even like even if there was like some path that was, you know, that I personally couldn't conceive of, but like could possibly work, right? Or like if you're going full diplomacy, like give that answer, but no one will give an answer because they say, yeah, obviously they have the right to kill Hamas. But when you ask them, how do they kill Hamas without killing any civilians? They don't have an answer. She was annoyingly not understanding. I felt like I was insane going through that debate. I was trying so hard to be nice.
Apparently Netanyahu and Biden had a call recently. Biden didn't say anything about having restraint. He does not care. We know what Biden thinks about Israel. And what it shows to everyone is
What does he
Western
say?
liberalism, Western conservatism doesn't fucking matter. They're both genocidal. They don't care. They're both insanely hypocritical. Whereas
we're 2 minutes almost into this, and I just can't take it. It's so fucking obvious that Biden is saying not to genocide Palestinians. It is so easy to find quotes of Biden saying, hey guys, you know, it would be just grand if you guys could open up some sort of humanitarian corridor into Gaza, right? Like, that would be just fucking splendid. I would really appreciate it personally if he would do that. Let's get some food and some water to the poor children. Let's try not to attack hospitals. Like, Biden's been saying this. The fucking Secretary of State has been saying this. Everyone's been saying this. It is just all the fuck over the place. And you have to be either retarded or willfully ignorant of what the Biden administration has been saying to make this assertion. Wait, what are we watching? You arguing? I'm watching this video, and it's just like very irritating to see the in real time rewriting of history, where these motherfuckers are taking statements that everybody already agrees with, right? Israel should reduce the amount of civilian casualties. Civilian casualties are bad, right? Like, very easy statements that Biden has been making and like actively trying to push for, right? When he says like, let's open up humanitarian corridors, let's get water to Gazans. Like, these are just the easiest statements in the world that he's been making, that most liberals, most progressives, most Democrats have been making. But they want to say, no, all the Democrats, all liberals are genocidal. It's just fucking stupid.
Russian
what's
is
our
a
next
Nazi
achievement we're going
because of
for?
what their government are doing in Ukraine. But every Israeli soldier and like 10% of the Jewish population who are actually in the military, in apparently a free country and a democracy, they're all freedom
Thunderblade,
fighting
Berserker,
heroes
and Wrath.
for doing this stuff willingly. They keep voting for this stuff. They keep voting for apartheid and Zionist colonialism. And we're meant to think that all Russian people are bad and should be banned from everything because of their dictatorship doing terrible things. But in the only democracy in the Middle East, it's called, in the only democracy that's free, their choice is apartheid, colonialism, and most of them are fine with doing their national service in the IDF to uphold that, right? So it seems to me very interesting that we have this double standard in how we demonize different people.
From my understanding, there's been massive arguments in Israel recently from people serving the IDF, even like the high like special ops teams, against deploying in places like the West Bank and you know, near Gaza. Now, I might be wrong on the scope of these things or on the you know, on what the exact reasons why they're striking. 1 second. If you want to feel horrible on stream. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Yeah, it's just like you have to, in order for you to believe anything that's being said here, like you have to be already fully bought in to like the West is always bad and always wants to kill brown people. Like that's the only way that you can arrive at this conclusion, because it just doesn't make any sense otherwise. It just doesn't at all. Anyways.
And also, in the only democracy in the Middle East, all these people willingly joining the IDF despite all the terrible things they've done for 70
It's
years, basically.
mandatory.
And these people often come from wealthy backgrounds, privileged backgrounds. But
Everybody has to do it. It is mandatory service. Men, women, doesn't matter. You hit the fucking age threshold, which I think is like 18 or 19, and then you have to serve for 4 years in the IDF or some shit. Everybody has to do it. Not everyone is a fucking foot soldier. Some people work in logistics. Some people work as fucking paralegals. Some people do the fucking, on the ground shooting of fucking Palestinian babies. And that's bad. And everybody knows that that's bad. Even the Israelis know that that's bad, because if they didn't think that it was bad, they would be broadcasting it all over the fucking place. But they don't. They try to cover it up because it's a bad thing. No, the ultra okay, there might be some religious exemptions. I'll give you that. Damn, it's fucking hot as shit up here. I can't really turn on the AC. Fuck. The IDF has a manpower problem because not enough people are serving. Maybe we can look into that kind of soon too then. Because my understanding is it's mandatory and that everybody does it. You live in Texas when isn't it hot? Besides, listen, it's been kind of nice outside for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, okay? There's been a couple of days where it was like really hot, but like other than that, it's been like we were in Dallas yesterday, and the day before it was like in the 50s and 60s, right? And I think in Houston it was staying around the like 60 to 70s because we're a little bit closer to the ocean. Like, bro, that is cold for us. Hitting the 50s, hitting the 60s, that's cold. And now I come back here and I'm on the 3rd floor and it's hot as fuck. And I don't want to keep my headphones on anymore because my ears are getting hot. Fuck me. Okay, we'll keep listening though.
also, we can't understand why Palestinians might fight back one day. They might do terrible things. How the Israel...
Well, first I want to start this video off for the first 3-4 minutes and say, Israel is evil. They want to kill all brown people. The United States is evil too, and we all know that. They give Israel a bunch of money so they can do what? Kill more brown people. Anyways, so given that backdrop, let's explore the reasons why Palestinians might want to fight back. Kill yourself in a video game with the Norm Macdonald joke about the rickety stool store, okay? What the fuck, dude? Again, like, Hamas has like 15% support overall amongst Palestinians. Aren't Israeli also pretty brown? No, they're Jewish and therefore white, unless they're not in Israel, in which case the Jewish people are a protected class. But if they're Jews in Israel, not a protected class, they're white, evil, and want to genocide brown people. Okay, I'm going to open a window. It's too hot in here. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if that helps. Okay, let's keep listening. I don't know if I can make it through this whole video. Like, the apologia, the fucking framing is so fucking off. Okay, Kame Yoriko, do you think I don't understand why it's the hottest place in the fucking house? Do you think I don't understand the concept of, like, the flow of heat from lower to higher areas? Do you think I don't understand this? I understand this. This is the only place where my computer room could be. And it's hot up here. And I can't just move an entire fucking gaming rig all the way downstairs for the temperature. Yeah, motherfuckers only know about the basement. There are literally no basements in Houston because we flood too much. We're built on a swamp. Okay? Chill.
Israeli government's actions have provoked a reaction, which is terrible. And on that note, you guys can't understand why there might be this terrible reaction from Palestinians, mainly Hamas, and, you know, war crimes.
Where? Why?
Oh.
Where? Why? Stop. Go away. Why did that start?
They've committed the atrocities and stuff. I'm not even trying to pretend that's not happening, although I will
Just
say
move.
there is an information
Well, if you
war
want me to
online.
move, if you want me to move and no longer be in a hot climate, well, we have plans for that. You know what would really help for that? Like, comment, and subscribe on this fucking YouTube video. Go into the description of the video. There's a donation link right there, and I think I've set it up to where anything that you want to put in there will show up on stream now. It won't even be a secret. Okay, so if you want me to move to a colder climate where I won't be like feeling like my ears are literally on fire with Greek fucking oil, all right? What's the fucking video game, or is it just called Greek Fire and all the video games? Whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? All right, fucking napalm on my ears right now. All right, donate, subscribe on Kick. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Where the Israeli government are just making stuff up as well because they know that lots of Westerners will just believe anything to do with Hamas. They even tweeted the other day that Hamas equals ISIS because they know Westerners don't see a difference between Hamas, ISIS, Hezbollah, Taliban, Al-Qaeda. We think they're all the same thing. All crazy Muslims who are just terrorists and evil because they're Muslim, right? They think...
No, they're terrorists and evil because they're terrorists. I just had to give you that little bit of extra context for our opinion over here that you're so eloquently describing. We don't hate them because they're evil Muslims. We hate them because they're terrorists. Usually when people decide to be terrorists, they get a bad rap unless they're, unless they're brown Muslims, in which case the terrorists are usually uniformly and universally looked down upon. Unless from people like you. Very strange activity going on inside your head.
I think we believe that. But some of you might be saying to yourself and asking yourself,
what are we thinking? What are we saying?
No matter what Israel have done to the Palestinians, this reaction is unjustifiable. Unjustifiable. And the only way I can make sense of it is if everyone who's doing it is some crazy evil Muslim who just hates Jews, right? That's what you're thinking in your head. So I want to give you some historical... Are you going to mention Hamas's charter where they say they want to eliminate all the Jews? Because if you bring that up, it's going to put a dent in your case that they're not just a bunch of evil people that hate Jews. So make sure to leave out the fact that Hamas said we want to eradicate all the Jews multiple times, openly and proudly. In their charter, in fact. This is just me giving him some preemptive headsing up so that he can, weasel his position in the most efficient way possible. Yeah, if they didn't want people to think that they were, giant Jew haters, maybe they shouldn't have said that they were giant Jew haters that wanted to do another Holocaust multiple times in public forums. Events for you, right? So the Haitian Revolution. Obviously, Haiti was a slave colony of the Europeans, of France, where every black person in Haiti was treated as human property. And as human property, when you do terrible things to a slave, there's no laws against it. You can
Yeah,
rape
that's
them,
bad.
You can murder them, you can do whatever. You can treat them however you want. So obviously the Haitian Revolution took place over like 80 years, fighting back against French colonialism, this brutal fight. And once they actually won their revolution, they did terrible things to the French there, the French civilians, women, children.
Yeah,
they
that's
did terrible
pretty
things,
bad.
right? And this is the point that people keep making. In a vacuum, of course, we understand that it's terrible what they did. Killing people is terrible. But those massacres of white people in Haiti, that was set in motion when the French were starting the slave colony, right? And that's the way you have to think about it, right? It's a cause and a...
We understand the reasons why, but we can look at things that we would say are acceptable targets throughout all of these different examples. We can look at examples throughout all of these different historical fucking things that you bring up where we're like, hey, you know what? The fact that they attacked this thing, that was okay. I have no problems with that. Like a military installation, police installation, governmental building, governmental institution, these things are seen as, combatants. But when you start bringing people in that are non-combatants, that's when people start saying, hey, why are these people being targeted? Simply for revenge? Simply, I'm giving the answer away instead of just, saying what they might say, decolonizing, what? Yeah, it's bad when non-combatants have been killed for anyone, whether they're killing slaveholders and then just killing all the women and children and the elderly along the way because they're white. That's a bad thing. And to defend it is to do the exact same shit as fucking Professor Flowers, where she said, well, I'm not saying that I would justify genocide. I'm not saying that they should kill all white people or anybody based off of race, but if you have to add a but at the end of the sentence, you fucked up somewhere along the way. Personally, in my humble opinion, if you have to say that racial violence is sometimes acceptable, I think you've lost the plot. Personally, in my opinion.
Effect rather than, oh my god, evil people, because yes, this stuff is terrible, but at the same time, the horror.
Also, I do think that you kind of have to be some sort of like evil bastard if you're going to be the guy that goes into some family's house and then you fucking set their baby on fire. Yeah, I'm probably going to think that you're not a very good person personally. Now, maybe I'm just very soy, and that's entirely possible. I can be very soy sometimes. So maybe I'm just really soy, but when I see a motherfucker go into someone's house and set their baby on fire and then kill them, I think the guy's evil, in my personal opinion.
Horror of being a slave in the 1800s in a slave colony. Your family or your friends are property of someone else. Like, literally, you're not even human. And the whole society treat you like this. And the mindset that creates in people and the violence they can carry out once this has been done to them, you see it throughout history. When you dehumanize a group of people enough, the violence they carry out, it can just be insane. Another example for you, Czechoslovakia, World War II. Of course, the Germans used the pretense of, we have to protect ethnic Germans in Sudetenland from the Czech government. So, going to invade Sudetenland? Actually, no, let's invade the whole.
Wait.
Once this has been done to them, you see it throughout history. When you dehumanize a group of people enough, the violence they carry out, it can just be insane. Another example for you, Czechoslovakia, World War II. Of course, the Germans used the pretense of, we have to protect ethnic Germans in Sudetenland from the Czech government. So, going to invade Sudetenland?
That was literally falsified events so that they could justify going in there and fucking everybody up. But here we have specific rage at a nationality / religious group / ethnic group where they specifically wanted to go after Israelis, where they specifically wanted to kidnap and murder. This isn't, oh, well, they attacked ours, so now we have full. They didn't make it up. This is real. There are videos on the internet of them pulling up to a bus stop with a grandma with all of her grandkids and them just fucking like unloading into fucking babushka. Nanny didn't get any fucking mercy. The children didn't get any fucking mercy. I think that they're evil, and I think that this is very different than the fucking Nazis making up racial violence against ethnic Germans in the Sudetenland. Believe it or not. And who was it? Like someone linked something the other day where there was someone that tried to use another Hitler example, and then they unironically just believed the literal Nazi propaganda piece that started World War II, the Polish border dispute. Wow, Palestinians are literally the slaves of Israelis. I mean, let's not be unfair to the Palestinians. The Palestinians have it ultra fucking bad. Okay? The Palestinians have it worse off than you could possibly imagine a person's life can be on a regular basis. Israel is not completely bloodless in this entanglement, right? They're not solely the good guys. They just have the right to kill the people. No, they don't even just have the right. They have the obligation to do actions that protect the lives of their civilians. Again, if Hamas had attacked like military installation, governmental building, an institution of the government, right? While avoiding as many civilian casualties as possible, I don't think as many people would be that upset. I would say that, man, they need to solve this real quick because they're starting to attack military installations. We should be trying to find some sort of two-state solution for these people. But when you go in and you kill thousands of people or kill 1,300 and then injure, a fuckload more, at a certain point, people are going to be like, you know what? I don't have very much sympathy for these Hamas fellas anymore. I think that these guys, and forgive me if this is crude, I believe these guys should die. Because they seem like real assholes going around burning babies, which has been confirmed independently, by the way.
Land, actually, no, let's invade the whole of Czechoslovakia. Let's divide it into two Nazi governments. And let's, give Heydrich the reins of power, one of the worst Nazis there was. And now Czechoslovakia is a German colony where Slavs are seen as subhuman, where we're going to do the Holocaust, where we're just going to do terrible things, where everyone who isn't an ethnic German is not equal. And this is a colony of the Nazis, one of the longest colonies of the Nazis as well. When you read about the Nazis...
They had to fabricate that. There was zero justification for the invasion of Czechoslovakia. It was fabricated. There are documents proving that this was fabricated. In the case of Israel and Gaza, it was not fabricated. Despite what all your lefty friends are trying to do online, saying that there were no rapes, there were no beheaded babies, there were no burned babies, there was nothing. Do not look at what's happening in Israel because nothing is happening except for Israel wanting to kill all brown people. Like, that's the position that you have to start off in this fucking conflict in order to arrive at the conclusion that he's at. It's to completely ignore all evidence to the contrary so that you can hold on to your specific point of view. 1 Jewish state and 22 Arabs. Shut the fuck up.
Nazi occupation of Czechoslovakia, it's just insane. What they did after Heydrich was killed, just going out and just picking out random people and gassing them straight away. Did not give a shit, right? Terrible. And obviously the war end.
And can you point to where that's happened in Israel's fucking history? that where it wasn't happening to the motherfucking Jews? Like, can we point to a population of Palestinians that were rounded up during the near century-long occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, where Israel has opened up gas chambers or like industrial killing centers to destroy the Palestinian people? If that was the case, why do we see an unbelievable rise, despite all of this massive fucking killing from the Israelis towards the Palestinians that is exactly like the Nazis did? Why do we see their population growing year over year, decade after decade?
The Czechoslovakian people, they fairly elected communist government because they feel sold out by the West because the West did sell them out. And then
Czechoslovakia fairly, oh my God, he's actually like a retarded fucking tanky. I don't think any of the East German states willingly joined the Soviet Union. Did they? Did any of the post-World War II states have any choice in the matter? Or was it simply just like the Soviets were already there and they just made all the rules? Yeah, now we know where he's coming from, especially if he's going to say some retard shit like Czechoslovakians chose to have a socialist government and be repressed by the goddamn Soviets for fucking, 80 years.
And what happened to the Sudeten Germans? What happened to all the Germans that had come over and settled there? Became part of this settler colonial class. Most of them were kicked out of Czechoslovakia, sent on these brutal marches back to Germany. And obviously what happened is people took their revenge. Czech people killed them. Vigilante mobs went after them in their towns, and they did these brutal marches and stuff, right? And we all know that type of violence is terrible. But again, it's a cause and effect thing. That was set into motion by the Nazis' colonization of Czechoslovakia, right? Where they created a system of dehumanization of these people, did terrible things to these people for years. And then what happens in these instances is often the violence either in response to this or the violence that comes after this is...
But should they have killed the babies? Should they have killed the non-combatant women? Should they have killed, a guy who was just like literally farming the entire time? Should individuals not be judged based off of the actions that they commit? Like, as far as they're screaming about collective punishment against the Palestinians, you're literally making the argument that collective punishment against the German Sudetenland fucking ethnic Germans was totally justified, even if they specifically didn't have anything to do with the Nazi regime. Didn't support it, didn't, sell out any Jews. They were just there farming, whatever the fuck Sudetenland fucking Nazis did, or, I'm sorry, Germans did. Like, you're arguing for collective punishment based off of the perceived actions of the entire group. That is what you are doing right now. You are the one justifying the collective punishment without a shred of self-awareness.
Terrible because of what you did to these people. And it happened in other places like Rhodesia as well. And there are very few examples of something like this going peacefully. South Africa is one. Thanks to Nelson Mandela, but also because Nelson Mandela eventually had Western support and the West turned against apartheid South Africa. So it was in South Africans' best interest to not start doing reprisals against white South Africans afterwards. And like I said, if you create a system where you...
We're whitewashing good actions as selling out to Western interests now. When you can read Nelson Mandela's own words saying that to create racial animosity would have led to an unstable state in the future. You can read Nelson Mandela's own words while he was in jail. These people are scum. Holy shit. I don't even know that much about Nelson Mandela, but I do know that. I do know that the guy said we're going to do the sabotage thing, as recently popularized by our friend Lonerbox in the Twitch politics space. His own writings say, hey, you know what? We could have gone with nonviolence. We could have gone for full revolution, or we could have just gone for sabotage, which is what we chose because it got our point across while reducing or minimizing or reducing or completely eradicating, civilian casualties, leading to there being less racial animosity after the fact. But now that's just selling out to the West. If you're not killing enough white people, I guess, if you're not killing enough white people, enough colonizers, enough, of the bad guys, white devils, if you're not killing enough of them, then you're just selling out to the West for some reason. Yeah, Lonerbox had a little help, of course. Education.
And the whole society is complicit. And there's no one really
actually caring about what he says.
There's no one trying to overturn this. Just everyone is in on it. Then that's why the violence can just be so terrible. And now we go to Palestine as well. And we've seen the stuff Hamas have been doing. Absolutely, terrible stuff. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone go watch some of these videos. But on the other hand, I wouldn't recommend anyone go watch the videos of Israel flattening Gaza recently because, seeing dead children, no matter who it is absolutely terrible. But a lot of people are acting like you can divorce the Israeli occupation from the terrible Hamas violence.
Is saying that.
Terrible Hamas response. Acting like Hamas are some outside infiltrators that are only doing what they're doing because of Iran. And
they had one election where they got above 50% of the vote. After they claimed responsibility for having the IDF leave Gaza, and then they never allowed another election to happen again. They currently hold 15% support amongst Palestinians. I don't know what the split is between the West Bank and Gaza is, but for them to only have 15%, I can't imagine they have full 50% or more in Gaza. Because I don't think that there are that many more Palestinians over in the West Bank. Actually, I don't know that. Let me not just speak out of my ass. $3 million in the West Bank and 2 million in the Gaza Strip. 2/5, 40% live in Gaza. 15, yes. I misheard Lonerbox the first time I talked to, or the time we talked to him. But then someone sent me, it might have been you, that sent me the resource that he was referencing, and it said 15%. So now I realize that it's just his dumb bonger accent that made it difficult for me to understand 15 or 50. Oh shit, 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 oh shit. There we go, we're safe. He was saying Marwan Barghouti is the Palestinian Mandela. Only an election will tell. Well, like, I would have liked to have seen some sort of like polling directly before this and directly after this, obviously. Like to see if people's opinions of Hamas has warmed since they fucking brutally murdered 1,300 Israelis, right? Or whether the effect of that whole, shindig hurt their credibility amongst people in Gaza. Like, that would be interesting to know, but I don't know if we'll ever have like a truly accurate picture of that.
And a couple things to say on that, because Hezbollah is the one that is primarily backed by Iran, but because of shift in geopolitics, Hamas has less support from the Saudis, from other places in the Arab world, which used to back them. But it doesn't really matter because Hamas have been in charge of Gaza for like 18 years or something at this point. And
because they don't allow elections?
Even Palestinian Christians had voted for Hamas. And you
the
think
one time.
That's a weird one because Hamas are Islamic fundamentalists. Don't they hate Christians? But what Hamas represented to a lot of people was they were the ones willing to fight back against the Israelis, right? And when
Yes, they claimed sole responsibility for having the IDF leave the Gaza Strip, and that made everyone like, wow, if these guys are getting results, they're getting results. What happened in the 18 years since then? Has anything positive happened for the Palestinian people as a result of Hamas? Literally nothing.
When you grow up in a system that completely dehumanizes you, that starts seeming quite appealing to you because you feel like the Palestinian Authority have sold you out, so you go more in the extremist direction. And then, of course, you have invasions, bombing, Gaza being an open-air prison. Most people don't have clean water, most people don't have jobs, most people have like 3 hours of electricity a day, and you can't leave. You can't leave while being treated like subhuman and while having a population of people who view you as subhuman, most of them. And the Zionist project as a whole relies on ethnically cleansing Palestinians and erasing their identity. And in some other videos, a lot of people...
It's just not the case with every single fucking person in Israel, and also with even all of the political parties in Israel. It's the far right people, the ones that are in charge right now, that are probably going to lose or have already lost an assload of support because of this whole ordeal, right? Because they were the ones in charge while it happened. They've lost a fuckload of support. Seems like they're one second. Here we go. Okay, 1 second. I might have to end the stream because I've been going an hour and 41 minutes. Let's go. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see how much longer I can stream because we have to make dinner. We didn't have a chance to cook today because we were driving all fucking day. Bitch. 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 Bitch, 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 bitch. Can this guy just fucking die? Thank you. Now I can concentrate. Hello Fresh stream? No. I'm not. I don't have enough subscribers on YouTube to get any sponsorships from the stream elements, unfortunately. So.
who work for the UN have argued this is like some sort of slow genocide.
Well, if we're gonna only go for like another 30
so
minutes,
if you are 18
I'll get
years
high
old,
for you guys.
You've
We'll have
grown up in
fun.
Gaza, controlled by Hamas, and what Israel have done is use this pretext of Hamas being, terrible Iranian infiltrators to do even worse stuff to you. So you grow up in that environment where every single person you know has experienced this. Probably most of them have lost family members and friends to the occupation and to the war. And then you want to fight back. What are you going to do? You join one of the insurgent groups in Gaza. Hamas is the biggest one. And another point I was making is often with revolutionary movements, a lot of people who join these movements don't...
These white bread fucking Western babied privileged fucking children making statements about Hamas being a revolutionary force. Unironically, if there is one thing if there is one thing that I could ban from the internet, it is anyone too far into the political extremes. Now, I wouldn't do this because obviously the ramifications of that is really bad, right? Freedom of speech is good, et cetera, et cetera. But I would do it even if the ramifications were really bad because holy shit. Ha, holy shit. The amount of spite I would be governing with if I were the leader of the world towards the like hardcore neo-Nazis and the hardcore leftists, it would be now see, I wouldn't necessarily even use violence, right? But to these people it would be violence. No internet access, 80s only tech. You have to live at an 80s technological level. You can still have your freedom of speech, but you're not allowed to have the internet if you're a fucking tanky or a Nazi, because you get to say shit like this that is so unbelievably, number one, tone deaf. Revolutionary force. Hamas. Fucking fundamentalist. Fucking jihadist group. Revolutionary force. These people are the whitest, most privileged people the history of man has ever seen. And they want to talk about revolutionary forces. Every single one of these people would be murdered by Hamas if Hamas ruled the world. If Hamas was in control of their country, they would be dead for criticizing them, for not being Islamic. Fuck these people. They have no use. They have no use in any political paradigm that I'm interested in. They are useless. God damn, I hate these people.
Don't believe in the politics. So the IRA is a good example, right? If you read about the OG IRA, the 1916 gang, one of my family members was in that, Sean McDermott. A lot of them were socialist, anti-capitalist. Said stuff like, you know, if Ireland just swaps English capitalism for Irish capitalism, we're not free. A lot of them were executed, but when Ireland actually became independent, did it become socialist? No. It became a terrible place. And today, Ireland's still wrestling with that legacy. It's a neoliberal hellhole, right? But the original people who were doing the revolution, most of
Why is Ireland a terrible place? Why is Ireland a terrible place? Can someone, like, I don't know anything about modern day Ireland. Do we know an Irishman who can explain to us what's such a hellhole about their country, besides the fact that they're European, which I understand is a moral death sentence, but in terms of like a literal death sentence, something that these people would care about, I have no fucking clue what he's talking about. Keffels lives there? Yeah, you have trans people there. Why would you be angry? It's like a socialist stream.
of them are leftist. You had this in Vietnam as well. Although NVA were communists, a lot of NOF people were just resisting American colonialism, South Vietnamese brutality. Didn't necessarily believe in the politics, they just wanted to fight back. Same in Algeria, same in lots of places, right? Same in Afghanistan with the Taliban. People join these organizations often.
Oh, you only want to talk about the Taliban. You don't want to talk about the other insurgent groups that might have been fighting against groups that maybe you like the USSR, like the Mujahideen, who were the precursors to the Taliban. You don't want to talk about them maybe being freedom fighters against the rule of an outside nation that you might support? That's kind of weird, isn't it? You just jump straight to the Taliban because maybe you think that the only evil fucking empire the world has ever seen has been the United States and everyone else had their own moral justifications. Could that possibly be the case? Cavernacle, MD, PhD of soyness. Sorry, I'm fucking high.
For one reason. They want revenge or they want to fight back. They don't necessarily believe in everything these people want. Not that they'll ever tell you, but I'm sure a lot of people who've even fighting right now don't necessarily believe in Islamic fundamentalism, but they join these organizations in a response to Israeli colonialism. And you can't just hand wave away that problem, because that makes the solution even more complicated. Because if you act like Hamas are crazy people, Hamas are all insane, they all are trained by Iran, they're just doing Iran's bidding. The problem is that you don't realize the solution is ending the...
No one that knows a goddamn thing about the situation over there would ever say any of these fucking statements. Hamas and Iran have some of the same goals. So Iran funds Hamas because Iran has the ability to. That's the beginning and the end of it. There's nothing more. There's nothing less. Hamas doesn't attack Israel just because Iran says, oh, let's go. But then again, why would I say that? Because nobody else is. Did you understand, like, 5 states have tried communism in... Yeah, I know, but they don't want to say that.
Occupation to stop support for Hamas, right? If Gaza was treated even just a lot better, there'd be less support. If Palestinians were liberated and had their own state as well, or there's a one-state solution for both Israelis and Palestinians, then you'd completely erase the support for Hamas. Why are people drawn to extremist militant groups? Somehow we can...
But the other side of the coin, they only want to look at it through their side of the coin, right? Through their little lens. But look at it through the other side. If they do a one-state solution, then there's going to be a bunch of people who now have voting rights, who are, you know, supportive of groups that literally said, we want to exterminate Jewish people. At a certain point, that might become untenable. Electorally speaking. Am I wrong? Like, from the other side of things, yeah, they're also equally reasonable in saying, you know, I'm not sure if I feel comfortable giving these motherfuckers some voting rights, where they're just going to vote for the eradication of people with my with my religious view.
Can all understand this when it comes to war movies about Afghanistan.
And if you want to say, well, they're just assuming that they'll be just as horrible to them as the Israelis were to the Palestinians. In that case, well, what confidence are fucking Israelis supposed to have that they wouldn't support that shit when they've just did this fucking attack? Hamas is a fucking horrible organization for Palestinians.
And Iraq. But when it comes to the discourse about Israel-Palestine, we don't understand this. We just all hand wave away. Oh, Hamas, they're all insane. And again, it's not to justify what they're doing. It's just to point out it's a cause and effect. The same way what the Haitian slaves did.
Except for you don't want to morally condemn the actions of Hamas, but you do want to morally condemn the actions of the IDF. You say that Hamas is not the Palestinian people, while saying that the IDF is the Israeli people, and it reflects all of their values. It's one set of rules for thee and another for me.
After the revolution, the same way what the Czechs did after the end of World War II. It's a cause and effect. If you create a whole system that treats people as subhuman or not even human, their revolt and their reprisals are going to be absolutely brutal, because you've created this cycle of they view you all as the enemy. And this isn't helped even more by all the Western governments saying Israel should be able to do what it wants. Israel going mask off, saying it's basically going to do genocidal war against Gaza now. Doesn't care if you're a civilian, it's just going to kill you. And then what does that do? More people in Gaza who think Hamas were wrong, now they see that rhetoric. Oh, I guess they were right. I guess all Israelis hate us.
We will take revenge for all the young people who lost their lives. We'll target all of Hamas's positions. We will turn Gaza into a deserted island. Yeah, that was a bad statement.
I guess all Israelis want to kill us. I'm going to join the extremists.
Now look at it from the other side of the coin, where Hamas literally has in their charter that they want to murder all Jews all around the world. Both groups are doing this. The civilians are caught in the middle.
Group now. What do I have to lose? And my whole war is against the Israeli people as a whole, right? So the reason I'm making that clear is because the solution is easy if you view it like that. The solution is, if you want to stop extremist terrorism being done on Israeli citizens, and this goes for people who might be from Israel too, you don't constantly support governments that promised to do this, that promised to kill Palestinians, promised to uphold not only the current Zionist territory, but expand it. Put even more illegal settlements, like destroy even more Palestinian peoples and territories.
And that's been a huge point of contention within Israel amongst Israelis for a while. It's only the ultra-Orthodox crazies that want to set up more settlements in the West Bank. Like, I'm against violence against civilians in every case. But you could even like have a somewhat stronger argument if this attack came from the West Bank and they went after exclusively settlers and then left like babies and families alone. Like, that's something that you might have a stronger case on, but you don't use that because you don't care whether they're actual like pushers of the like craziest like part of the Zionist ideology, because they're all settlers to you with your definition that you use from other socialist sources about what a colonial, state is, regardless of whether or not that fits the character of what the people in that country are doing. It's just fucking crazy. According to Hassan, those babies are settlers too. True. Reminds me of Binding of Isaac. I have never played. I think I own Binding of Isaac, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Well, it would be here or under the. Oh, I guess I don't have it. I was almost certain. No, I don't have it. But so yeah, I have no clue what Binding of Isaac's like. Cards and the vibe of it generally remind me of it. Yeah, no, these kinds of games are the only ones that I can play and still pay attention to what's going on the on the videos. So that's why I play these
territories. If you're voting for that, you're going to get one thing, and that's more extremism, more terrorism. If you really care about all those Israelis who've been killed by Hamas recently and other insurgent groups, then you'd stop supporting apartheid, you'd stop supporting Zionism, and you'd realise this is bad for the region. Because even though you might feel good right now watching all those buildings being bombed, thinking, oh yeah, we're really showing them, like I said, what's that going to...
Nobody feels good. Nobody. Even the IDF is explicitly, except for like some of the like craziest Zionists in the world online, right? But even like the powers that be say that the Gazans are not our enemy, the Palestinians are not our enemy. Our enemy is Hamas, the terrorist group. Now you can say there's a whole bunch of other things that they do that is really bad, and I would agree. I don't agree with them cutting off all fucking aid to Gaza. I don't agree with them cutting off water and power to Gaza. I don't agree with them giving like an hour to fucking evacuate a fucking hospital. I don't like those things. Those are bad things. But see how easy it is for me to criticize my side without having any regrets whatsoever, or having to pad my fucking, my answer with like 50 layers of fucking justification about how bad the other side is. Israel commits war crimes. Israel does bad things to the Gazan and the Palestinian people as a whole. Netanyahu and the leaders of Israel should be held to account for these things that happen, especially if they don't hold their own soldiers to account, especially if they're the ones that order specific airstrikes that have no military objective to them other than to kill as many Palestinians as possible. These people should be tried at The Hague. However, you'll never catch any amount of pointing out the horrible atrocities of Israel that I can do to justify what Hamas did, and no amount of pointing out the atrocities that Hamas has committed against Israeli civilians that will justify what Israel does to the civilians specifically. Again, there are 1,000,001 ways that you can have a justified, even militant response to the apartheid in Israel, as evidenced in the fight against apartheid in South Africa. Damn it. I need to get this before I leave. When are you going back to Europe and stop colonizing this land so the natives can live happy lives chasing buffalo on foot like they did 200 years ago? Yep, true. Good job, Body. Yeah. Haha, he condones stuff. True.
Gonna do? What do you think people who have all their family members killed, 19 in the same family I read the other day, what do you think they're gonna feel about that? You think they're gonna
probably really bad,
resist,
Cavernacle?
or are they gonna pick up arms and start actually resisting? And if they're doing that,
PhD?
There's no PLO anymore. There's no secular Palestinian groups in Gaza. They're gonna join Hamas. So you're just giving them more recruits. But again, people don't understand this conflict in that they're acting like Hamas planned this, in that they attacked to get the Israeli reaction to get more recruits. But like I said,
that is absolutely something that they consider when they do these things. When they block off any exit from the city of Gaza with roadblocks so that more civilians are going to be in the path of the IDF. Yes, that is something. That is something that they consider. But they also probably consider, hey, Israel is about to sign, peace accords with, with Saudi Arabia. That's another Arab state over here that's not going to be on our side. That's not going to uniformly and categorically support us no matter what we do. What do we got to do about that? Well, we got to make Israel look really bad. Let's do a terrorist attack to try and install some of these things. Let's take a bunch of hostages so that we can draw this out as long as possible. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of casualties on our side, but, every time there's a mass casualty event in Gaza, who benefits? It's us.
It's this cycle. A lot of people in Hamas are just regular average people who join an extremist group to fight an occupation because they're so desperate, right? I've seen a lot of quotes going around in media that actual Palestinians have said, we don't have anything to lose. We don't have anything to lose. I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to live in destitution my whole life, poverty without clean water. So what if I get killed by an Israeli warplane or helicopter while breaking out of his prison and stuff? So what if I get killed by an Israeli settler in a gun battle? It's better than just staying here and slowly dying, right? So again, that's what Israelis should be advocating for. There was massive Israeli protests against the Netanyahu government recently. Not because of how they treat Palestinians though, but because he's destroying Israeli democracy for Israelis. And again, it's linked together because now he's back in power, he's doing this war, he's going to be more popular than ever, and I'm convinced he let this happen. But it's like some House of Cards shit. Like literally, I was watching that speech he made the other day. I'm like, you knew this was happening, and apparently Egyptian intelligence are saying that Israel did know about this. And again, with the whole history of them funding and arming Hamas in the first place to undermine the Palestinian Authority.
Hold on, that's not what I've heard. I haven't heard anything about Israel funding Hamas. They funded the charity group that Hamas was formed out of. Originally, it was a charity group that was doing schools and healthcare and food drives for people in the Gaza Strip. This is true. And Israel gave them recognition as a equivalent of a 501c3, right? Privileged tax bracket. But I have never heard of Israel creating Hamas. I've never heard anything about Israel giving them arms. This sounds like just blatant fucking propaganda that he's heard.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It's a great political move for Netanyahu. The whole world is backing him now. The whole Western world is saying, go on, do whatever the fuck you want. I bet his popularity in Israel is so much more. Nothing like a good war to get everyone supporting you. Same thing happened to Bush with Iraq and Afghanistan. And I can already see the comments of, oh, dude.
In the aftermath of 9/11, And leading into the Iraq War, Bush's approval rating was fucking sky goddamn high. In the immediate aftermath of these attacks in Israel, Netanyahu's approval rating is now low enough to oust him and his entire party from government. Israel in 2023 and the United States in fucking 2003 and 2004 are very different places and very different times, believe it or not. And that matters for how we can both expect them to react and how we should react ourselves to the actions that they take. Because they can look at our mistakes in Iraq and then see, it's been said that Hamas has claimed that Iran helped plan the attack, but it's possible they're just trying to pull Iran into it so we get into it too. Yeah, the only group that has said that has been Hamas. Nobody else has been able to independently confirm that. Israel's going to say it so that the U.S. gets pulled into it, and because they probably do genuinely believe it. But there's not been any evidence that Iran helped plan the attack or that did anything past the regular funding that they'll do for their terrorist activities.
Dude, you support terrorism because you try to outline why people join a terrorist organization. I'm trying to outline this because if you don't...
No, it's the framing of everything. It's not just because you outline it, because no one in the fucking world is going to accuse me of being pro fucking Hamas or pro terrorism based off of the fucking past couple of streams I did. But I have been able to say why people join Hamas. I have been able to say how badly Israel treats Palestinians, while also maintaining that Hamas needs to fucking go and Israel has a right to fucking take these motherfuckers out, because they do. And they probably should, for the good of both Palestinians and for Israelis. Now, the problem is, I don't think that Israel is going to be particularly, I feel like they're going to be probably particularly heavy-handed with their approach. But no one gave a shit about Palestine. Well, I mean, I was updated and read up on it, and so I have an opinion. But I bet you for most of the youngest people in politics, this is their first time seeing and paying attention to anything that happened in Israel and Palestine, and they got their opinions from their favorite YouTubers on Twitter. I guarantee you, on TikTok, on Twitter, all these places.
You know history, you know why people join. I talk about the IRA. My own family were in the OG IRA. Why did they join that? Why did they do that? Why did they join a terrorist organization? Why did they fight against British soldiers? Why did they kill British soldiers? Because they were desperate. Centuries of colonialism. Famine that didn't have to happen, but the
key difference between the IDF, or I'm sorry, the Israeli, the IRA, holy shit, the Irish Revolutionary Army, right? The difference is what you just said. Why did they kill British soldiers? It's almost like people see soldiers as combatants because they have guns and training and orders from governments. Whereas civilians, they don't take orders from anyone except for, don't speed, pay your taxes, etc., etc. The difference in who you're attacking is a major, major influence on your public perception and on your entire movement's future. If people see you as baby killers, mother killers, they're probably just not going to support your cause very much, my guy. And that's just a fact. Now, maybe you guys can tell me, but did the IRA specifically and specially target children? Or families? Or civilians? Or did they usually go for governmental or military targets? Oh yeah, mods, if Panda Man is getting to be Panda Man, just time him out.
English allowed it to happen.
For some reason, my computer is just, for some reason on my computer, it just does not like it when I try to do any moderation activity. By the way, we only got about 5 more minutes left in stream, just so you guys know. All right. So if you guys want me to raid into someone, tell me now so I can figure out how.
Because they were exporting all Irish food to the colonies and to England itself, right? People get desperate when you're treated subhuman for so long. And one more point to make about the...
Okay, we're actually just gonna like chill and talk for the last part of the stream because he's literally just repeating the same like stupid shit over and over and over that everyone agrees with. Yeah, we understand why Palestinians do the things they do, right? We understand why like someone might join a fucking terrorist group. No shit, fucking retard. That's not the fucking question. You could raid food shops. I could soft raid food shops. What is her kick show called? Here, let's see. Kick.com. Food shops. Yeah. I like food shops. You know what? That's what we're gonna do. We'll go here and then we'll look at this bad boy. Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and end now because I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this guy. All right, and I've had a 4-hour-long drive today, so let's see. Host channel. Hey guys, we're going to ship on over. Okay, we're gonna ship on over to food shops. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but the second you guys get over there, I want you guys to follow food shops, and then I want you guys to all spam either Woo Yeah or the Roach. All right? No, spam the Roach. Let her know she's fucking vermin, okay? I want to see notifications that she's getting followed go off on her kick stream, okay? I love you guys very much. I'll catch you guys next time. Start host now. Go, 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 go.